everyone, and welcome to our Go Live series of the Follow Our Journey through Radical Remission Coach Training. I'm Cheryl.
And I'm Jessica.
This week, we're going to discuss Radical Remission workshops. The training that we are currently receiving is preparing us both to be Radical Remission coaches as well as to facilitate Radical Remission workshops. Both can be extremely beneficial to everyone, and today we will discuss the differences and benefits of each. But first, we are going live early today before our training, which was not our original plan, but an amazing opportunity arose. Jessica, tell us what you're doing tonight.
Well, Cheryl, I'm super excited to go into New York City tonight because there is a screening of the Radical Remission docuseries and a conversation with the author, Dr. Kelly Turner, and a Radical Remission breast cancer survivor whose name is Sarah Ann Rothberg. And, it seems like such an amazing opportunity. With the pandemic, to be honest, I've been extremely careful, as many people have, about going out and social distancing. And even though I'm in Long Island, this is probably my second time going to New York City this year. But it was too good an opportunity to pass up. And I'm excited because I'm going to get to meet another Radical Remission coach tonight, which will be great. And so basically, Dr. Kelly Turner and the Radical Remission Project created a Radical Remission Healing Against All Odds 10-episode docuseries, which basically features survivors and how they defied their diagnoses and healed themselves using both medical interventions and holistic interventions. And so really taking the best of both worlds. And each of the 10 episodes, I imagine why there's 10 is because there's one key healing factor, or there's 10 key healing factors. So I assume that each episode focuses on one of the key healing factors from Dr. Kelly Turner's research. And it also incorporates expert opinions from integrative oncologists, which is amazing. So I imagine it will be powerfully uplifting, and I'm very excited.
I'm so excited for you to have this opportunity. I've had the opportunity to watch a couple of the episodes in the docuseries. They have been offered on the website. So I was able to watch the episode on bringing exercise and movement into your life, as well as having a strong reason for living. Throughout the Radical Remission, they have been offering 2 episodes a day this week for everyone to watch for free. So it's not too late. I believe you can still catch the last 2 episodes. So check out the Radical Remission website, and we will try and put the link in our social media as well, so you can find it through there. So in the episodes, the people in the story sounded so familiar because from reading the books, but through the docuseries, I'm able to get to know the survivors better, it feels like, and understand their stories more deeply. And the docuseries was beautifully done. Not that I need any more motivation to do this work, but I was so inspired, and I'm so excited to share this work and be part of the Radical Remission family.
Wow, I can just feel the energy in your voice, Cheryl. And I can't even, the stories themselves were so powerful because they're not stories, right? They're true people and their lives. And to put a face, to see a picture, to put a human voice to that, it just goes even more into the heart. So I'm looking forward to seeing the docuseries. I have not yet, but it's just amazing, that power of positivity, that hope, that inspiration, being around people who have been able to do the impossible, so to speak. And even if that's not something possible for everyone, it's still giving hope. And hope is something that is universal and healing in itself. And so very, very grateful to be part of that. And so coming to our topic today, talking about hope and healing and positivity. As Cheryl mentioned, last week we talked about coaching. And so this week we're going to dive deeper into workshops and how they're beneficial. The amazing thing about workshops is, regardless of what the course matter is, learning in a group setting is extremely impactful, right? And I mean, before COVID, I never took for granted the fact that I could go to school or go to college, sit next to my classmates, and have that human interaction. And I think the pandemic has been a rude awakening for everyone. with that and really valuing that social connection and community. And so the beauty of these workshops or the beauty of work nowadays, right? We're online. We get to speak to people from all over, whether they're online and whether they're in person. As long as there's that interaction, it's a beautiful thing learning how to facilitate an online space that feels like an in-person space and to connect with people from all over. And the other part that I love about learning this work is that the learning doesn't just happen from the facilitator. It happens from each and every participant, and so I'm really grateful to be a part of this. And I didn't really realize the nuances personally of facilitating groups and how much we have to not fix and listen and actively listen and respect each person for where they are, going into it with positive regard that each person is an expert until I became certified in mind body medicine by the Center for Mind Body Medicine and started facilitating those groups. So this work to me feels like an expansion off of that and just adding richness to such powerful work that has the ability to change and transform lives.
I completely agree. The work that we've done through the Center for Mind Body Medicine does really like they work together, play off of each other so well. There are some differences. The terminology used in radical remission seems a bit different than the terminology we used in the training through Center for Mind Body Medicine. No better, no worse, just different. From what we've learned so far, radical remission workshops can be offered in multiple different formats. So we're used to the word groups with Mind Body Medicine groups. This is workshops now with Radical Remission. And it can be offered over a weekend, shorter sessions over many weeks. It can also be offered in large groups. There's some offer it in small groups. I've seen it offered in person. I've seen it offered virtually, and I've seen it even offered. I was just looking at some yesterday. I've seen it offered as a retreat where you go away for the weekend and you stay someplace and includes food. And so I've seen it offered in so many different ways. And I love having that flexibility because the different methods of facilitating workshops will work for different facilitators and it'll work for different participants. And it allows for inclusivity. So I really appreciate that. My understanding for the workshops is it's focused on getting content to you in a group setting. You can feed off each other's energy, learn from each other, sharing like you had mentioned. And no matter what the format that you are receiving the workshop in, each workshop, you will be able to deep dive into each of the 10 key healing factors. So you'll get to learn about the factor, you'll get introduced to the science behind it, and you'll also have the ability to do some activities and start doing some self-exploration on how each of the topics relate to you personally. So I think they're extremely beneficial. And I think we've mentioned before, this work is not only for people who are currently going through their oncology journeys, it can be for survivors, it can be for preventative care, it can really be beneficial for everyone. So for me, the difference now between workshops and what we talked about last week with coaching is that the coaching, I feel personally, is more individualized. You can do one-on-one coaching or group coaching, but either way, there will be more time spent on your specific needs in regards to that factor. So setting your goals, planning for how you are going to accomplish those goals, and having the accountability after getting the, one-on-one or group support. That's the difference to me with coaching, where the workshops, you really get a ton of knowledge and you get to start that deep dive, but you don't, in my opinion, necessarily get the full accountability, goal setting. Everybody offers them different. So maybe in some of these groups or workshops, they are offering it that way, but that's my takeaway in regards to workshops versus coaching.
Thank you, Cheryl. It was so beautifully described the nuances between the two of them. And I agree, a workshop is a great place. You learn each of the factors the same way as we would in coaching. With Radical Remission Coaching, we would go through one of the 10 factors each week or each session, however frequent it is. But the difference, and in a workshop, you are more accountable to yourself. each week when you go to a coaching session, there's a check-in, how is your goal? There's some accountability and some follow-up. And it doesn't mean that you are guaranteed to accomplish your goals. And your goals may change. That's the whole beauty of this work is you don't know what you're getting into when you start it. You go in one thing and wondering if it will work for you and maybe find something different or try something and it doesn't work. And the beauty with coaching or having that support as you're going through a journey, especially something such as healing or trying to work on enhancing health and wellness, is that you have someone behind you, someone you can bounce things off of, someone facilitating that space for you to figure out what it is that works best for you and not judge you through that process. So that's really important. And with a workshop, it's amazing because you are responsible for these goals. It's just that with coaching, you get a little bit more of a focus on goals. I agree. That's my opinion too. And that's what I felt was the difference between the two.
For me, the way I picture it and the way maybe, I plan to roll things out is that workshops are a good place to start, really soak in all that knowledge, learn about all of the factors, and then maybe, receive coaching simultaneously or after, depending on how the workshop's offered. But I think coaching and workshops work together synergistically. They are both beneficial. One doesn't replace the other, and both can work for everybody.
Yeah. I'm also just reflecting on the weekend workshops I've done, particularly, and the one that's coming to me, whether it's like a weekend yoga workshop or so for the Center for Mind Body Medicine, for instance, my training, you do 8 small group sessions over 5 days. And it's a lot of inner work. It's beautiful, but it's like after the 5 days, it's like, I want more. So it's really nice. And some of these workshops to do workshops over the course of weeks or just to work through this over time because change is a process. And yes, one session can be extremely powerful. And I'm sure you've had this too, Cheryl, where literally one session can change somebody's life. But really having that long term is so powerful and nurturing.
Yeah, you bring up such a good point when you relate it to the mind body medicine training, because I too had a life-changing experience over those 5 days. And I've learned so much. And then after, it was kind of, slowly things started to fall away. I didn't have the accountability. I wasn't, like I feel if I had coaching right after that to have somebody hold me accountable and help me set goals for incorporating those skills that I learned, those tools on a regular basis, it would have been extremely helpful. And now over time, I've learned to bring those back, and I'm as a coach, coaching myself through that a little bit. But another example of how it could work, coaching with other programs and workshops could work synergistically.
I agree. That's one of the reasons why I'm so excited to do this because it builds on the work that we've already learned as coaches and whatever your training is, it builds up on that in the health and wellness space. But so when I facilitate these 8-week groups, it's so beautiful to watch people go through it slowly over the course of time, really soak it in and learn from each other. And so I'm excited to learn how to offer these workshops and these groups over time to really impact change.
Yeah, I completely agree. I couldn't be more excited. And, we've discussed, and we can kind of throw this out there a little bit, that we are looking to host our first workshop together early into the new year. And what that looks like yet, we're not completely sure, but we will keep you updated and hope that you're interested in joining us. It should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, and we'd love to know, do you like a weekend workshop? Do you like something over weeks? What suits you? We'd love to know, and obviously because we want to make it the best that it can be. And one of the last things that I really want to that just came to me, Cheryl, as you were talking about the group work and doing this own work. One of the other beautiful benefits of this is how by going into a workshop or in this group setting, when you go in to heal yourself, you automatically end up healing others in the group. And just having that positive contribution, that productivity, that sense of value and appreciation is such a gift.
Yeah, I completely agree. We are facilitators. We're not the experts. It's not that role anymore. It's coming into each workshop as a coach from the coach perspective, not from the expert perspective, and being able to learn from anybody and everybody in the group. People will share their stories. There will be group sharing and things like that. And so you may learn just as much from somebody else than from the facilitator.
Yeah. And so we're thank you for watching and for sharing this journey with us. And we will be live next week, Friday, after class this time to check in and share what we learned.
Yes, we look forward to it, and we will see you next week.